This one forgotten bag in your closet could be the reason your money keeps disappearing. Not stolen, just slowly drained. Every single day. You know that one bag you kept just in case? Too pretty to throw out. Too expensive to let go. Too sentimental to give away. But it's just been sitting there. And the truth is, the longer it stays, the more it starts to hold the energy you forgot to clean. Not dirt, but the weight of old money stories, stagnant chi, and moments you never wanted to relive. This isn't about minimalism. It's about energy and what happens when we keep holding on to things that no longer hold us. You don't need a full house makeover to shift your energy. Sometimes, clearing one corner is enough to start attracting wealth again. In this episode, you'll learn the 5 hidden signs that your old bag is quietly draining your luck, and the simple fix to reset your money flow. This is part of the Everyday series, where we clean, reset, and realign your space, one ordinary object at a time. Ever opened your closet and caught a weird, stale smell? Not bad, just off? That's not just old air. That's chi, stuck, stale, and slowly spreading into the rest of your space. Most of us have that moment. You open the closet, catch a strange smell, and just brush it off. Maybe you think, it's just old air, or probably something from the laundry. So you close the door, maybe spray something, move on. But here's the real mistake. You didn't question it. You didn't ask, where is this coming from and why now? In Fengshui, smell is not just a background detail. It's a sign. A bag that smells musty, slightly chemical, or just off, is telling you one thing. Chi is trapped. And trapped chi doesn't just stay inside the bag. It seeps. It leaks into your clothes, your closet, and eventually into your energy. You might feel heavier in the mornings, more irritable without knowing why. But the mistake we all make is assuming the smell is surface level, when really, it's energetic. You might feel foggy, drained, irritable, and you blame work. But sometimes, it's just the bag, leaking stuck energy into your flow. Flow fix, Fien Bon Marong and Mark Lock. Here's what you need to do. Simple, straightforward. First, pull that bag out. Yes, the one you've been ignoring. Smell it. Don't overthink, just notice. Does it smell musty? Damp? Slightly chemical, like plastic or old glue? If yes, don't put it back, not even for later. Second, check how long it's been there. If it's been untouched for more than a year, the chi inside has already gone stagnant. You don't have to throw it out right away, but don't keep it where you rest, dress, or think. Place it near an open window for 1-2 days. Let it breathe, let it drain. If the smell doesn't fade, that's your sign. It's no longer an item. It's become an energy block. And blocks don't fix themselves. You have to choose. Keep the object, or keep your clarity. I kept this old brown tote in the back of my closet. Didn't use it much anymore, but I couldn't throw it out either. It had been with me through a lot. Late night deadlines, awkward job interviews, a few too many stressful mornings. One weekend, I decided to declutter. pulled the bag out, and the smell hit me. Soft, dusty, with a weird plastic edge. Not gross, but tired. Like something that had been holding on too long. I stood there for a second, and suddenly I remembered. That week, I cried in my car after work. That argument I had while holding this bag. The moments I never really processed. It wasn't just a smell. It was energy. And it was still sitting there, waiting for me to deal with it. So I opened the window, let it sit in the sun for an hour. But the feeling stayed. And I knew this wasn't a bag I needed anymore. It carried too much of me, from a version I've already outgrown. After I got rid of that bag, the closet felt lighter. Not just cleaner, lighter. Like the air had more space to move. The weird thing is, I didn't realize how much it had been affecting me until it was gone. My mornings felt less heavy. I didn't dread opening the closet anymore. And getting dressed? It felt smoother. Like my energy wasn't brushing up against something stale. It wasn't a big dramatic shift. It was quiet, but steady. Like something had finally stopped pulling me backwards. And the funny part, I never missed the bag. Not once. But scent is just one signal. Some bags don't smell. They just collapse and take your chi down with them. Let's look at that next. Some bags don't smell. They just collapse. A quiet kind of tired. But in Fengshui, a bag that can't stand is more than just old. It's a signal. Your chi can't hold itself together. We all do this thing. We see a bag losing its shape. A little slouch here, a soft base there. And we say, it's still good. It just needs a little stuffing. And so we keep it. But here's the real mistake. We forget that shape holds energy. In Feng Shui, the way something stands is the way it supports what's inside. A bag that used to stand upright, but now slumps over, folds in, or can't stay upright on its own. It's not just aging. It's showing you something deeper. It's done carrying. It's tired. And energetically, it's no longer capable of holding wealth chi. But we keep it anyway. Because it still works. Because it's familiar. Because we're used to things sagging and don't always realize what that reflects. And little by little, we start to mirror it. You hold it, you see it every day. And it teaches your energy to collapse too. That's the mistake. Keeping something that physically tells you to shrink instead of stand. You might notice a few strange things. Money comes in, but disappears just as fast. You feel productive, but nothing really sticks. And no matter how many goals you write down, they just never land. That's what leaking chi looks like. It's not dramatic. It's just constant. Start simple. Take the bag out. Put it on a flat surface. No support, no stuffing, just the bag. Then, step back. Look at it. Does it stand tall? Or does it sag, lean, or collapse into itself? Because that shape, that's the shape your chi is taking every time it sits in your space. If it can't hold its own form, it can't hold wealth energy either. It's like trying to store water in a cracked bowl. So here's what you do. If the bag has sentimental value, stored away in a sealed box, somewhere it won't impact active energy flow. But if it's just there out of habit, it's time to replace it. Choose something firm, structured, not stiff, but steady. Something that, even when empty, still stands. It's not about price. It's about posture. Your new bag should hold itself, so you don't have to carry the slack. I had this black leather bag I used for years. Structured, confident, felt like me, but over time, it softened. Edges blurred. The base started caving in. I didn't notice at first. It was slow. Like, one day, it just stopped standing. One weekend, I pulled it out to use again. Put it on the floor. And it just folded. No shape, no presence. Just this quiet heap in the corner. I stared at it for a while, and I realized something. I'd been feeling like that too. Exhausted. Holding everything in, but with nothing to lean on. That bag had carried so much of me. The long days, the small wins, the silent stress I never named. And now it couldn't hold itself up anymore. Just like I couldn't keep holding what wasn't mine to carry anymore. So I let it go. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like I could stand taller, too. Some things don't fall apart. They just quietly fold when you're not looking. After I let go of that bag, something shifted. Not instantly, but gradually, like a slow exhale. I didn't know I'd been holding. My closet felt neater, yes. But more than that, I felt more steady inside. Like I could move forward, without dragging parts of myself I'd already outgrown. I noticed little things. I stopped delaying small tasks, started showing up more present. Even the way I carried my new bag, I walked straighter, with more clarity, less weight. Letting go of that saggy form reminded me of something simple but deep. When what holds you is strong, you don't have to keep bracing yourself. But form isn't the only thing to watch. Sometimes it's the color of the bag that quietly tells you your energy's gone dim. Ever looked at one of your old bags and thought, it used to be brighter than this? In Fengshui, color isn't just about style. It's how your qi shows up. When the color fades, so does the energy. We all do it. We see an old bag in the closet, notice the color's a little dull, and think, it's still fine. Just a bit faded, no big deal. But that's the trap. Because we don't stop to ask, why did it lose its color? What else faded with it? In Feng Shui, color isn't just visual. It's vibrational. It tells you how much life an object still holds. When a color fades, it's usually because the item has stopped exchanging qi. It's not alive in your space anymore. It's just sitting, absorbing, not radiating. And here's where most of us get stuck. We think we've outgrown the bag, but really, it's our energy that's been blending into the fade. You see it every day, and without realizing, you start lowering your own frequency to match. That dull brown, that pale blue, becomes the emotional backdrop to your morning routine. And one day, you stop reaching for color altogether. That's the mistake. Keeping something around that's quietly teaching your qi how to dim itself down. You might feel less inspired, less sharp, like you've stopped reaching for color in general. You gravitate to the same safe shades, same energy. Nothing wrong, but nothing fresh either. It's a slow slide into just enough. Here's what to do. Nothing fancy, just presence. Take out the bag. Place it under natural light. Not your closet light, real sunlight from a window. Now, really look at it. Does the color still feel alive? Or does it seem dim, like it's lost its spark? If the color feels faded, especially around the corners or handles. It means the chi is thinning out. That object is no longer cycling energy. It's just holding on to old layers. You've got two choices. If it still means something to you, give it one more breath. Let it sit in direct sunlight for an hour or two. Wipe it gently with a damp cloth, and then move it somewhere visible. Somewhere it can interact with your space again, because hidden chi stays stuck. But if it just feels like you used to like it, you already know. It's time to release it. With gratitude, not guilt. You're not throwing away a bag. You're letting go of a version of yourself that no longer feels current. Letting color fade out of your life isn't failure. It's just a signal that you're ready for something clearer. I had this small green crossbody. When I first got it, the color was so vibrant. It made me feel awake, like it had some kind of spark. It wasn't expensive or fancy, but I used it on days I wanted to feel clear, like I had a direction. Then one year, I just stopped reaching for it. Not on purpose. I just didn't feel like it fit anymore. Months passed, and one afternoon, while cleaning, I found it. Same shape, same hardware, but the color, it wasn't green anymore. Not really. It had turned into this pale grayish tone, like someone turned the brightness all the way down. I held it up to the window, hoped the sunlight would bring something back. It didn't, and in that moment, I realized it wasn't the bag that changed. I had outgrown what it meant to me, but I hadn't outgrown the memory. And that's what made it hard to let go. Some things don't lose their color all at once. They fade, slowly, while you're busy becoming someone new. After I let that bag go, I didn't feel a big shift. No rush of energy. No dramatic before and after. Just quiet. Like my space exhaled. I didn't realize how much that faded green had been tugging at my mornings until it wasn't there anymore. The shelf looked a little emptier, but lighter, and, weirdly, so did my thoughts. I started choosing outfits more intentionally, gravitated toward colors that felt alive. Not just nice, but energizing. It was like giving myself permission to step out of the version I no longer resonated with. Without guilt, when you clear faded energy, you make space for color that actually fits who you are now. But it's not just color that tells the truth. Sometimes it's what your bag is made of that determines how strong your chi really is. Let's look inside that next. You ever touch an old bag and think, wait, when did the leather start peeling like this? In Fengshui, material isn't just surface. It's memory. And when it breaks down, so does your energy's ability to stay whole. We tend to ignore the little things. A scuffed corner, a frayed edge, a zipper that sticks, a strap that's starting to peel. We tell ourselves, it's not a big deal, it still works. But here's the thing. Just because something functions doesn't mean it's energetically sound. In Feng Shui, the material of an item acts like a skin for your chi. It protects what you carry. And when that skin breaks down, even just a little, it opens space for leaks. A cracked leather handle, that's a rupture. A stuck zipper, that's chi struggling to move. A rusty clasp, that's energy that hasn't breathed in a long time. But the real mistake isn't the damage. It's the way we get used to it. We adjust, we hold the bag a little differently. We avoid that one corner. We stop noticing that every time we use it, it leaves behind crumbs or effort or tension. And that's where energy dulls. Not in one dramatic moment, but in these quiet little breaks. We keep choosing to overlook. You might feel a bit clumsier, misplace things more, spend time fixing little things that keep going wrong. It's like your energy field is full of static, always patching, never flowing. Start by slowing down. Grab the bag. Don't just look at it, feel it. Run your fingers over the straps, the edges, the corners. Notice what your hands pick up before your mind jumps in. Is the leather flaking? Do threads feel loose? Does the zipper glide? Or do you brace for the tug? This is your energy check. Now pause. Ask yourself honestly, can this bag still hold wealth chi with integrity? Or is it trying to hold on when it's already falling apart? If it's minor, fix it, but do it with care. Not duct tape, not rushed glue. Real attention, real choice. But if the bag's holding more damage than function, it's time to thank it and release it. Letting it go isn't wasteful. It's respectful. You're honoring the energy it once carried and giving your chi permission to be held by something whole again. And moving forward, choose materials that feel calm in your hands. Not flashy, not fragile. Just quietly solid. Because when what holds your energy feels stable, so do you. I had this dark tan work bag. Used it almost every day for 2 years. One morning, I was late for a meeting. Grabbed the bag in a rush, and the strap snapped. Not all the way, just enough to jolt my hand and leave this little tear right at the seam. I remember freezing, not because of the bag, but because of how it felt. It wasn't just broken. It was exhausted, like it had been holding more than it could handle. For a while now, I tried patching it. Used strong glue, clipped the tear from inside. It worked, kind of. But every time I picked it up after that, something in me tensed. Like I didn't fully trust it anymore. A few weeks later, I was heading out the door, reached for that bag, then stopped. And I just didn't want to carry it anymore. Not because it was ugly, not because I was done with it, but because every time I held it, I felt like I had to brace myself. And that's when I knew this wasn't about the strap. It was about the weight I didn't need to carry anymore. Some things don't break to hurt you. They break to show you it's time to let go. After I let go of that bag, I didn't replace it right away. For a few days, I just carried less, walked lighter. Didn't even realize how often I used to shift my shoulder, adjust the strap, worry it might give out again. There was this quiet freedom in not having to compensate anymore. When I did get a new bag, it wasn't about the brand. It was about how it felt in my hand. Firm, balanced, easy. And I noticed I showed up differently, less distracted, less guarded. I wasn't patching around anything. I wasn't bracing for the next tear. When you carry something whole, you stop making space for what's already broken. But even a strong material needs the right placement, because where you store your bag might be the real reason your luck keeps getting tangled. You might not even see it anymore. That old bag tucked behind your door, buried under scarves, hanging next to the outfit you wear every day. But in Fengshui, where you place something is just as powerful as what it is. Energy spreads, even when you're not looking. Most of us think energy comes from what an object is. Old bag, still useful, just tuck it away, done. But here's the thing. We underestimate where that object lives. That's the mistake. Closets aren't just storage. They're energy-holding zones. Your clothes, your bags, your personal items, they all share space. And space is never neutral. When you hang a tired, forgotten bag right next to something you wear all the time, like your favorite jacket, your everyday work bag, your go-to dress, you're letting that old sluggish energy touch what you carry into the world. It's not intentional. It's convenience, habit, lack of time. But energy doesn't care. It moves by proximity. And worse, you stop noticing. You just feel a little less excited to dress up. You wonder why some outfits don't feel like you anymore. And all the while, that one item is sitting there quietly, lowering the frequency of everything it touches. That's what we miss. Placement isn't passive. It's participatory. Your chi brushes up against these things every day. And it remembers. You might notice things feel heavier when you get dressed. Like you don't like what you're wearing, but you're not sure why. Or you wear the same few pieces because nothing else feels right. Your energy starts choosing safe, not aligned. And it could all be coming from that one bag. Pulling the tone down. Start with one small question. Where is it sitting? Go into your closet. No need to reorganize everything. Just stop and look. Where's that one bag you haven't used in months? Is it crumpled in the corner? Is it pressed up against the shirt you wear to every important meeting? Is it hanging quietly behind the door, brushing your favorite scarf? Now feel it. Not with your hands, with your body. Does that placement feel active or abandoned? Does it feel like something you chose to keep there? Or something that just ended up there? Here's the shift. If the bag still holds good energy, give it breathing room. Hang it with care. Let it sit in light. Make it part of the space, not hidden under it. But if the bag feels like it's carrying a heaviness, a season of your life you've outgrown, don't let it touch your now. Move it away from the things you use often. Wrap it gently, store it separately, or let it go altogether. It's not about organizing. It's about deciding what gets to influence your energy, even when you're not looking. There was this cream-colored tote I used to carry during a weird in-between season of my life. A lot of waiting rooms. A lot of second-guessing. It held papers I never followed through with. At some point, I stopped using it. But I didn't throw it away. I just hung it inside my closet, on the same hook where I kept my favorite denim jacket. For months, I didn't think about it. It was just there. But one morning, I put on that jacket, and it felt off, like it wasn't mine, like I'd picked up someone else's mood with it. It bugged me all day. That night, I opened the closet and noticed the bag hanging right next to it. The fabric still slightly pressed against the sleeve. And suddenly, it made sense. The bag wasn't just taking up space. It was leaking something. Something I hadn't dealt with. Something I didn't want rubbing off on anything I wore today. So I took it down, folded it, placed it in a box with intention. And my jacket felt like mine again. Sometimes it's not the object. It's the energy it's been sitting in too long. I started noticing what my things were next to. Not just what I owned, but what shared space with it. That small shift made getting dressed feel clearer, easier, lighter. The closet wasn't just neater. It was aligned. Where you place something is where your energy goes to rest. But a tidy closet alone doesn't reset your wealth flow. Let's pull all this together and shift the energy from stuck to spacious. So, what now? If you've watched this far, you already know this isn't just about a bag. It's about space and what you allow to stay in it. So here's how to reset gently and clearly. First, pull out the bag. Really look at it. Not from guilt. Not from, should I keep this? But from clarity. Does it still feel like a version of you that's alive, or one you've quietly outgrown? Feel it in your hands. Test the weight. Smell it. Set it down and see if it stands. Let your body tell you the truth your mind's been avoiding. Second, clear the area around it. Not just the bag, the shelf, the corner, the energy. Wipe it down, open a window, let in light. You're not just making room. You're letting your chi move again. That matters more than we realize. And third, if you choose a new bag, choose with care. Not to fill the empty space, but to reflect who you are now. Something that feels strong in your hands and soft in your energy. You don't need something flashy. You just need something that can hold what you're ready to carry forward. Sometimes it's not about big shifts. Sometimes it's just one small thing you've walked past 100 times, finally being seen. And that seeing is where the energy begins to move again. So if you're feeling it, drop a comment below. What's the one bag you haven't touched in a while, but know you probably should? Not to judge, not to rush, just to name it. That's where the clarity begins. And if this episode landed with you, you'll want to stay close for the next one, where we'll go even smaller, into the thing you carry every day, but never thought could block your money energy, your wallet. Until then, be gentle with what you keep, and even gentler with what you're ready to let go.